Hello, everybody. Welcome into the webinar today. Great to see a bunch of familiar faces, or I guess names, out in the attendee list today, and a bunch of new ones that I'm seeing coming in as well. We're going to give it just a couple of minutes here, as we do have a very large attendance for this webinar and typically all quarterly update webinars, and then we'll go ahead and get started here just in a couple of minutes. If you've attended any of these before, you always know that we like to start these off and really stay consistent with this throughout of making these as interactive as possible. If everybody wants to put in the chat where you're calling in from, and in spirit of the area that we're in, what's your favorite holiday? Obviously, I know that there's a lot of different holidays celebrated all around the world, so it's always cool to see um, where you're in. What's your holiday? I'll start. I'm in Denver, Colorado. My favorite holiday is probably Christmas. See, Scott, that's you keeping it real. Any 4-day weekend you can get, that's truly the best holiday, I think, as well. Thanksgiving for the food. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong there. We got some Canada, Indiana, California, another California, um, Wisconsin. Yeah, I think we're getting a cold front all around, except maybe where Jordan is because he's in nice old Florida.
Florida's pretty cold right now,
Is it?
surprisingly.
Yeah.
As cold as it can get, but
Yeah, 60 degrees or so. Yeah.
something
Uh,
like that.
we got France. I think you're winning the farthest out right now. Christmas Eve. Interesting. Texas, Christmas. Very good. South Africa, Kyle, you may have the farthest away. That's always a game I like to play. See who's the farthest away calling in from me here in Denver, Ohio. Aloha from Maui. I was just in Hawaii, not Maui, but Kauai a couple of months ago in September. And National Wine Day. That's a great holiday that I did not know existed. But that's awesome. Colorado Halloween, love it. Hi, Greg. Thanks so much for joining. All right, we're a couple minutes in. Numbers have started to fill out. Thanks for being interactive. Always good to see everybody joining in here and where you're calling in and have a little fun with it. So, thanks so much. We will go ahead and get started here with the quarter 4 quarterly update. So, agenda, if you've attended one of these before, you kind of know how these go. We'll go over some introductions, do our Q4 review, which will be my part of this webinar, and then we'll go into probably what most of you are looking forward to here, which is what's coming soon and what's in queue. That's where our great product manager here, Jordan, is going to come in and kind of talk through some of those things. We'll go over some resources for you, and of course, we'll do Q&A throughout, as well as a dedicated session at the end. So who you are seeing here on camera, again, if you've attended one of these before, it's probably some familiar faces. If you've ran into us at a conference, always love to see you there. My name's Daniel. I'm an account executive with Hudu here. I typically handle a lot of the webinar side of things as well, whether that's our weekly product overview webinars, whether that is partner webinars, or of course these great quarterly recap webinars. Kind of lead on those, which is always great. And I'm joined here by Jordan. Jordan, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. Hey, everybody. My name is Jordan Hart. Like he said, you probably see my face either at conferences, on webinars, especially if you joined any of these product updates. But really excited to show off what we've been working on, what's coming up, and hopefully answer questions and feedback along the way. So thanks for joining.
Great. Thank you, Jordan. So a little bit of housekeeping stuff. Again, we just got the chat really engaged and everybody typing things in the chat there. That's great for things like that. Continue to chat in there, whether that is fun stuff, whether that is interacting with other attendees. Continue to use chat for that. It's completely open. You can send us private messages through that as well. But Q&A is going to be where we're going to keep the questions, the what do you need answered, specific feature requests, things of that nature, gonna be a good thing to put in the Q&A. That's what Jordan and I are gonna prioritize answering and looking through during these. So again, you can kind of see how this is laid out here, but please use the Q&A for any questions that you have during today's webinar. That will be our primary focus throughout. So, jumping straight in here to the Q4 review. Now, we're going to be talking about a couple things that have already been released, but if you are a wonderful member of our beta team, for instance, you probably know that we have a very large release in beta right now. And so, that being said, a lot of these features you're going to see are currently in beta. We hope to release these as soon as possible, pending, beta feedback and our typical process. But everything that I go over today will either be live or in beta. We actually have a question here. This is one of the few I'll answer during my time, but how can we get on beta team release? Kristen, if you want to go ahead and send over that link there. Beta is currently available for self-hosted customers, but we can definitely go over that a little bit later. We'll have a dedicated slide on it after the review and kind of what's coming soon as well. So hopping right in, we actually just got a question on this. Our first thing that we're going to be talking about today is Hudu Radar. So Hudu Radar is the newest tool to Hudu. It is our own native network discovery tool that will allow you to do quite a few things. That's going to include automatically populating your network devices based off of the scans of the network. So it's going to automatically scan all of your networks, populate those network devices inside of Hudu. It is also going to automate the IPAM section of Hudu. That's something that we got asked about all the time is how can we automate this IPAM section of Hudu? Hudu Radar is going to be your easiest way to do so. It's also going to automatically track warranty expirations for you if a vendor and serial number are found on a device, and also give you this nice looking topology map of the network so you can truly see how everything is connected in the network. And all of those assets and everything in this map are going to be completely clickable as well, so you can preview those assets and jump into them. We have been answering questions and interacting with countless customers on Radar, as well as new people, new companies joining in that are trialing Radar. So obviously, any and all questions are completely welcome. Jordan's going to go over a bit of some things that are coming with Radar in his section as well. Obviously, this is a new product in the Hudu atmosphere. So we do have lots of plans to expand on this as well. If you haven't tried Radar yet, you can log into your Hudu HQ instance, start that free trial of Radar, and start automating that network discovery portion of Hudu from there. Next, we're jumping into some features that are currently in beta. A lot of these you may not even know about yet if you don't do our beta newsletter or anything like that. So these are features that are about to come to you if you are on Hudu Cloud Hosted, for instance, not on the beta. These are features that are going to be a part of our 2.40 release that, again, is currently in beta. This one's a big one, kind of a huge quality of life change. We got feedback all the time about how our PDF exports needed to be better and needed to include more. You can see that we've done quite a lot of work this quarter to ensure that both of those are true, including KB articles and password OTP codes inside of our PDF exports is a huge one, really just allowing you to export all of your information. And then a lot of, again, kind of UI things that are going to make those PDF exports just look a lot better when you're sending those to, your customers or when you're offboarding a company or anything like that. This should allow you to have a lot nicer looking PDFs with more information in them. Next is a big one for all of our Halo PSA users that integrate Halo with Hudu. I know this has been on a lot of people's radar here for a bit, and that's going to be Hudu to Halo KB syncing. You can see this image here and how this is going to look. Basically, we're in Halo PSA here, and we have access to this article, this knowledge base, KB, that we have inside of Hudu directly while we're inside of Halo. This is really going to allow you, if you use Halo, to leverage Halo's tools, but now have your entire knowledge base from your documentation platform sync directly into your PSA. When you're solving a ticket, you can go through and read through that knowledge that you need directly while you're in there without having to jump back and forth. So this is going to be a big one. Again, I know a lot of Halo PSA users are super excited for this, and this is something that is going to be in 2.40, which should be coming here soon. This is another nice one, customized content security here. So this basically gives you the ability as an admin to toggle Hudu's security policies on and off. You can essentially customize lists of approved frame, media, style, and script sources, essentially allowing you to select what sources can be embedded into Hudu. This should give you, as an admin, a little more granularity control over what is able to be pushed into Hudu, embedded in, and what maybe you don't want to be embedded in. So this will be a really neat one as well. That will just allow you again a little more granularity with your security preferences. Archiving improvements. This is another one that I hear a lot about, just the sometimes the time it takes to relate items, and kind of the UI in general. So, and sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here to a next slide. This is archiving improvements. So this is more so on expiration archiving. Smarter auto archiving with those expirations. So a big pain point that we got told a lot was that when you're archiving assets, for instance, that have an expiration tied, that expiration would remain in the expirations list. That is no longer going to be the case. That pain point will be solved. You can also just go in and archive expirations as you need to, even if they're not tied to an asset. So if you need to go archive a SSL expiration or potentially an article expiration or something like that that's in your expirations list that isn't tied to an asset, you can do that, but it will automatically do it if that expiration is tied to an asset as well. With a lot of features we release, you know that we're also expanding on our API consistently as well. So we are adding new delete and archive endpoints for expirations inside of our API documentation. So that'll be a big help for you if you do use our API and leverage expirations in that way as well. Um, the one thing I didn't mention here is just museum. There will also now be a expirations section in each company's museum as well. So if you do ever need to unarchive those expirations, similarly to how you can do so with other tools in Hudu, you can do that as well. Global table filtering. So this one, actually, part of this is something that I'm going to be talking about, and I believe Jordan's going to be talking about more of this potentially a little bit later. But basically, inside of your global section of Hudu, you have the ability to sort and search for things in there now. What we're adding, though, is more granular filtering as well, specifically in this release with passwords and with flag review. So you'll be able to filter by things such as color, which is a nice one if you want, if you section your passwords based off of certain color schemes, like Microsoft 365 passwords are a certain color correlation or something like that. This will allow you to filter based off of those colors, or again, say you do the same thing with tags, same functionality applies. It's also going to be nice for your flag review section as well. With the addition of workflows, I've noticed this a lot in my demo Hudu instance, that a lot of things can now be flagged automatically inside of Hudu. If you haven't taken a look at workflows, that was in our last quarterly recap, but definitely recommend you to do so. Filtering based off of those flag reviews will just allow you to really narrow down on those specific flags that you're searching for or filtering by. This is another one that you've probably noticed we've been doing quite a few updates to recently, and Jordan's actually going to add in more on that in his product update section as well. but that's going to be bulk actions for photos. So the ability to easily both delete and move photos in bulk directly from your photo section in a company is something that's also in this 2.40 release. And again, Jordan's going to add in a little more on what's coming soon with photos shortly as well. Connected fields with Microsoft Intune. So this is another one. If you know, if you've kind of been with Hudu for a bit or attended these product updates, we released connected fields recently as well. This has been a awesome feature that a lot of people have taken advantage of. And we mentioned in that last quarterly update webinar how we're going to be expanding on this, adding this for more integrations. And we have, of course, a lot of plans coming soon with this as well. But if you use Microsoft Intune as an integration, connected fields are going to be supported for that with some of these fields that you can see here. This is what I got ahead of myself with earlier talking about, which is our related items improvements. So this is just going to allow you to add relationships quicker, easier, better UI. It'll allow you to preview an asset before you add those related items. And again, it's acting more of a sidebar now rather than popping up on your entire screen. So you can easily just go through your list, relate items to what they need to be related to. This is a big one as well. We had this pain point come up a few times in this last quarter. For records that have the same name, company names are now visible when you're adding those global relationships as well. Uh, this one, send emails securely with Microsoft Graph. So, Microsoft Graph, new support. Exchange Online is completely removing support for basic authentication, their SMTP. So, this is basically just Hudu adding support to easily send emails securely with Microsoft Graph. Again, part of our 2.40 release, everything that I'm talking about has been. Some big little updates that are also coming here soon. A recently flagged dashboard widget. So if you use our dashboard a lot for things like maybe things that are expiring soon or recently clicked into items on your screen, another one you'll get here is recently flagged. This is another one that goes really nice with our workflows feature as well. So as an admin, when you log into Hudu and you're on the dashboard, you can see potentially what your texts have flagged or something that a workflow has automatically flagged and make sure that you have that visibility, go into the flag review and review any flags that have just happened inside of your instance. Um, Reordering Magic Dash via both the UI and the API. This is another pain point that we've heard quite a bit, where Magic Dash is great and you can set up all of this customization via the API directly on the forefront of your company page via the Magic Dash. But you want to have the ability to almost preference those, right? I want this Magic Dash style to be first, or so on and so forth. And so this is really going to allow you to make sure that those are in the order that you want them to. I've talked with customers that have 30 Magic Dash tiles in their environment. This is going to allow you to basically get those in the order that you truly want them in. And last but not least, I believe, is another widget that's going to populate for you in those dashboard cards. In the integration one specifically, that's going to be a action required for any integration. This is going to be mostly involved for, let's say, an integration's not syncing or anything like that. You're getting an error, maybe the API cred's expired or something like that. You'll have this pop up for you in your integrations dashboard widget so you can easily identify that and then go see what maybe needs to be updated there. So that is everything that again is either live now or about to be from that's currently in our beta platform. Again, if you are a beta user, please test out all of these features. It's always super helpful for us to get that feedback, and that way we can push this to production for everybody as soon as possible. Jordan, I am now going to shift this over to you to talk a little bit about what is coming soon. Everybody's favorite part of this webinar. Everybody's like, Daniel, stop talking. Let's get to Jordan's part.
No, not at all. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, so if you've attended one of these webinars in the past, our coming soon section is really features that are coming up in the next 1 to 2 releases as a general rule. So the rest of the year and into Q1 of 2026 is going to include a lot of these features, some big, some small, some I think you'll be really excited about. So yeah, coming soon. First up is going to be our process overhaul. So this is a really cool one. If you're a member of our community, we actually ran a build a feature kind of post on this. If you're not familiar with our build a features, these are essentially community posts that we like to collect ideas from our community on. So you can, see where the progress of a feature is, suggest ideas, future improvements. That is up on our community.hudu.com site. So if you have feedback on this particular feature, feel free to throw a comment in the community. But process runs. So on the right hand side, you can kind of see what that's going to look like. But process runs are essentially a complete overhaul to our processes and the way that they work and how you use them. So we're going to keep global process templates pretty much the same. They will have some updates with using those, but company processes and child processes are switching over to the concept of a run. And a run is essentially a designation of using a process at a specific time. So you'll generate your processes, you'll generate a run, and runs are what you would tie to assets or actually use. Now, with this overhaul of processes, we're also adding a lot of new features like process subtasks for better organization. You can kind of put a hierarchy to those processes, put them under each task, assign each subtask or just the entire process step to your technician, set priorities on those, etc. And then also the concept of optional tasks. So a lot of our processes are meant to be templated, but not every step applies to every configuration. So you'll be able to mark certain steps as optional, and those won't count against the overall completion. So a process can still be completed even if it doesn't hit all of those optional tasks. Now, required tasks will obviously need to be completed before that process is designated as complete, or really that process run is designated as complete. Now, with processes, this is going to be kind of an update or a feature that's going to go across multiple versions. So this is just what's included with that first one, but we have tons of ideas and things already kind of in play for processes, like reoccurring processes via the workflows feature that Daniel mentioned. We released, I think, 2.38. So that's getting some updates with processes in particular. Just a bunch of other things that you can go ahead and do with processes. Next up, a really cool feature also coming very, very soon is going to be labels. So in my opinion, tags are a great way to organize information, and they are superior to folders in my opinion. But labels are going to be a way to essentially categorize and organize all of your documentation. We do currently have tags available for passwords, but labels are going to be able to be applied to different types of tools. So you could tag knowledge base articles, passwords, assets, websites with certain tags, Microsoft 365, onboarding documents, and really create a way to see all of that information grouped. These will be searchable, they'll be filterable, so you're going to have a lot of options here, and they're, of course, going to be available via the API for any of our API users. Next up, actually, my next two slides are really all about asset layouts. So overhauling the UI to make those a little bit easier to use and to see more information on one screen. So our asset layout directory is getting an overhaul. It'll be easier to assign these to folders and see how your asset layouts are going to look on the company sidebar while staying within the admin. You'll be able to bulk move asset layouts to different folders and overall just a better UI and cleaner UI for those asset layouts. Also along the same lines of asset layouts is going to be our asset layout builder. One of the downsides of our current format is that adding a field is very independent of actually seeing what that asset layout's going to look like. So we're overhauling that UI to allow you to see exactly how your asset layout's going to look when you're actually adding an asset. It'll be a drag and drop editor. On that left-hand side of the screenshot, you'll be able to choose your field type and drag it into that customizable form. And then on the right side, it is a little cut off on the screenshot, is going to be where all of your settings are going to be for that particular field. So naming it whatever you'd like, setting up your connected fields, connecting it to our Hudu radar if you want to auto-populate with discovered data, and just a consolidated view for that. There we go. Multiple SSO IDPs or identity providers. So this is a pretty big feature for customers who are going to be or who use outsourced help desk companies. If you're setting up SSO for different user groups, you're going to actually be able to set up multiple identity providers. That could be, multiple tenants of the same identity provider if you're using Entra ID and you need to set it up with multiple Entra ID tenants, or it could be different identity providers completely. If you want to set it up with one login for your outsourced help desk, but you internally use Microsoft Entra ID. This feature itself is going to also apply to some other changes that I'll talk about later as well. But being able to set up multiple SSO providers. Now, if you followed along with us, we are updating our integration UI. So next up is our ConnectWise PSA. This is going to be some UI changes as well as some back-end changes. So on the UI front, it's really making this integration easier to set up, to debug, to edit settings, and overall just a better look to these integrations so that they're easier to manage. And then on the back end, it's going to change a little bit for us so that we can more easily add features to our integrations. We can help with debugging. We'll provide better logging for customers. So really just a good update to integrations, and in this case, ConnectWise PSA, so that our integrations work a little bit smoother. Now, into some external things. So first up is our mobile app. So we're bringing bulk actions to all records so that you'll be able to manage things while you're on the go in bulk. Right now, a lot of that's just individual management, which can be pretty tedious when you're trying to do things via the mobile app or on the go. So adding bulk options that are available in the web-based version right now to the mobile app. And my next one is also on the mobile app, is going to be accessing record tools. So those things that you see on the right-hand side when you're viewing a KB article, an asset, a password, you're now also going to be able to see those in the mobile app. So just adding more continuous basically management via the mobile app. Related items, passwords that are related, child passwords, processes, things like that. Now, also on the extension front, if you're not familiar, Hudu Assist is our widget that sits inside of certain PSAs and RMMs and allows you access back to your Hudu environment while remaining within that PSA and RMM. What we're going to do is essentially combine our browser extension, our screen capture, and Hudu Assist into a single documentation assistant that you can access from anywhere. So this will work very similarly to what you're used to, just in a unified interface. You'll be able to access passwords, knowledge base articles, view it inside of the PSA and RMM, search your information from inside of Hudu, access your screen capture tools for process and KB generation, and just overall more customization to that Hudu assistant. Alrighty, so my next section is in queue. So our in queue section are features that are on the horizon, but a little bit further out than our coming soon section, or just larger features that we're going to be continuously working on over the next few updates. So starting off, like Daniel mentioned, I was going to talk about some additional photo options. We're going to add the ability to archive photos. It is currently the only tool inside of Hudu that cannot be archived. There's only a deletion option for those. So bringing archive photos to both the web version as well as the mobile app in bulk, so you can really manage those photos and keep your photo gallery clean and relevant. Advanced search. So, if you've attended these webinars in the past, you probably see that we pretty much have search features in every single one of our updates, or at least every other update. So, this is the next big one, but an advanced search menu. What this is basically going to allow you to do is preview your search results before clicking in to hopefully keep you in your workflow a little bit more. It'll have a dedicated window that you could link over search results to your other technicians, um, and many more filters for those search options. So, like I mentioned, we have labels coming very soon. You'll be able to filter based on labels and other criteria so that you can really drill down your search results and find exactly the information that you're looking for. Now, I suspect this next one's going to be a big one for people. It's our portal overhaul. This is one of those large features that I was mentioning. We're going to be continuously updating for quite a few updates. But we are overhauling our portal and making it a little bit easier to share your documentation access with your clients, or even outsource help center people if they don't need full access. So, easier portal management, additional features like being able to set up SSO, set group restrictions on portal users. Not every portal user is going to have to see the same information now. And then the ability to auto add records to that. Right now, it's kind of a manual process. If you add something new, like a new password or a new KB article, you have to manually go in and add that to the portal. We're going to go ahead and change that behavior so that information can basically be auto added as it's created based on the restrictions that you set. And the SSO one is going to be a big one. Just make it easier for your clients to actually log into that portal, see the documentation, access additional tools. IPAM, rack management will be added to the portal view. So lots of cool things with that. A little bit on the smaller side, folders for the MyVault. Technicians will be able to organize their personal passwords a little bit easier. So just adding some structure to the personal password or the My Vault section there. Now, circling back on Daniel's Hudu Radar, we have some big changes with Hudu Radar coming, which is going to be the Radar centralized management. We did go ahead and release that product. It's probably been, a month and a half now, Daniel, but we got a lot of feedback on our webinar. So we're directly taking that feedback, and we've started building on what that feedback was. And the biggest was centralized management. So being able to manage the discovery of assets, the scans, what devices are being created from directly within Hudu itself. So this is not going to require that external application anymore, or the GUI there that it previously did. And a next button for assets. So a few versions ago, we released a lot of preview functions. So you can preview your assets as you are essentially looking at an asset layout. This will allow you to just quickly skip through those previews and find the one you're looking for. So open up a preview and navigate forward or backwards on those assets. So you can see those without actually opening up the entire asset. Now, Daniel, I think that's the last of my stuff, but I'll circle back on some questions real quick before we hop into the kind of closing things. When is 2.4 going to be released? Greg, it could be as early as this week. We have a couple reports that came out for beta, so trying to fix some of those things. If it doesn't come out this week, it will likely be January. I'm not sure we want to release during the holidays, but it'll be out very soon, as long as kind of depends on the beta feedback that we get. So Portal overhaul. Will API endpoints for share assets with portal members and portal user management be available before portal overhaul or having a time frame? Every new asset needs manual steps for sharing. So yes, I'm not sure if that'll be available before the portal overhaul. It'll be very close with probably the first version of the portal overhaul. We have added quite a few user endpoints for the user management there. That does apply to portal members also. I think that was in 2.39, if I'm not mistaken. But additional options for sharing assets via the API to the portal will be part of that overhaul. Yeah, Greg, Radar centralized management and portal overhaul going to be incredible. Yeah, I agree. Got one last question. Any plans to allow granular user security levels that we can mix and match what we want for a user? Yes, absolutely. We've actually been talking about that lots over the last probably 2 months or so. It is on our radar. I'm gonna have to come up with a new word there. But yes, it is something we've talked about a lot. I don't have an immediate timeline on that, but it is on. We are aware of it, and something we're going to be looking into probably sometime next year. I would guess around Q2 is when we'd start more discussions on that, though. Lori, how do we get access to Radar? Kristen is writing you a response there, but you can enable your 14-day free Radar trial in your Hudu HQ account. So it's just a button enable trial. It'll add it for 14 days. You'll get a Radar code that you can add to a company.
Perfect.
All
Thank
right.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jordan. I'm sure we'll get some more questions in here in a sec, and we'll get to that here shortly. Resources for you, just to jump into some kind of closing things here. This one has been glowingly impactful for a lot of Hoodoo customers, especially as of recent. So, if you've attended these before or subscribed to our newsletter, you know that one of the things that we did this year was launch our own official community at community.hudu.com. This community serves as a resource in a couple different ways for you. But one of the biggest ones that we've seen a lot of people leverage is our automation library. I see some people in this attendee list that have actually contributed to this, which is absolutely incredible. But this is going to be a resource for you for various different scripts and automation. Kind of different ways to automate your documentation, all the way from PowerShell to a automation tool like N8N or Roost. This is also, let's say you still have documentation in SharePoint or something and you want to get that into Hudu. Our internal team has developed some scripts for migrations from various platforms into Hudu as well. So definitely recommend going and checking out our automation library as well as other things in our community. Events like this one you're at now are posted in the community. Discussion with other Hudu users, similar to what you've been doing in the chat. Great things that we would love to see in our community, as well as all of our release notes. Every single thing that's added to Hudu is posted in the release notes in the community section. So if you haven't explored our community yet, again, community.hudu.com, definitely check that out there. It's a great resource, and we plan to keep making that as impactful as possible to for all of our customers. Um, if you didn't notice, the biggest news of this whole webinar is we're on Instagram now. Hudu HQ. If that's your social media platform of choice, definitely go give us a follow. We'll be posting all of our information there as well. So just kind of growing communities, and obviously there's a bunch of social media platforms out there. Definitely check us out on Instagram as well. Um, If you love Hudu, a lot of people that attend these do because you're very interested in the kind of product and how it's headed. We'd love for you to leave us a review. G2 is a great place to do that. We've been kind of building our reviews and feedback there. So if you haven't yet, we would love for you to give us a review there. It could definitely goes a long way for us. So that would be awesome. Recent webinars we've done. Jordan and I actually both alluded to this through this webinar, but we actually hosted a dedicated Hoodoo Radar webinar a couple of, yeah, maybe about a month ago or so, with the lead developer from Hoodoo on Radar. He went through a full demo, answered questions. We got a lot of feedback similar to how these tend to go, where we get some feedback and ideas for future versions on things during that Radar webinar. If you're interested in learning more about Radar, getting a full demo from the creator of Radar, that's a great resource for you. I mentioned community earlier. You can go to our community site, find that recording there if you want to take a look back at that. And then we also hosted a webinar with Zofik, basically a thought leadership webinar driven about understanding AI. Obviously, as we continue, towards the end of 2025 and into 2026, this is going to be a big topic, no matter if you want it to be or not at this point. And so we hosted a webinar with Zofik, brought on Zofik's founder, and talked a little bit about kind of what really agentic AI is and kind of where it's going. If you're interested in that, definitely recommend taking a look at that webinar. I just from a host on it, I thought it was super impactful. Jordan, if you wouldn't mind, I know you link community, but potentially linking those webinars as well, I think that'd be great in the chat there. And then some upcoming webinars on the AI front. We've got a webinar with Help Ghost. Um, on January 14th, and then with Mizo February 11th. Both of these are also kind of newer AI providers in the scene as well. So if you're interested in either of those, definitely recommend attending. You can sign up for those in our community as well. Looks like we got a Mizo fan out there already. Greg, glad to hear it. So yeah, definitely recommend checking those. We'll be talking, more thought leadership stuff as well as kind of how these products are integrating, using your documentation with these AI platforms, and really all of the benefits that it gives you from a time savings and automation perspective. It's really impactful. So definitely recommend checking out those. And that is pretty much it on my front. So I know we've been answering a couple questions in the Q&A, but we will take the rest of the 18 minutes or so here to just answer any questions. Obviously, if we don't get any here for a brief period of time, we'll go ahead and wrap up. But that is everything that Jordan and I had for you all today. Any and all questions, feedback, feature requests are always welcome. Otherwise, Jordan and I are kind of just going to hang out here and we can chat with each other or with you guys if you want to put anything again in the chat or Q&A. If you do want to drop off, obviously you're welcome to do so at this point. I'll say another thank you at the end, but thank you all so much for joining these webinars. I think they're equally as impactful for us as they are for you. So we always appreciate it. They're always our favorite webinars to do. Jordan and I chat about that all the time. So thank you all so much for joining. If you have questions, if you want to stick on, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we're good to go. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, no matter what you celebrate. Hopefully, everybody that said that they their favorite holiday is when they have time off. Hopefully, you get some time off here and you can enjoy your favorite holiday of the year at this point. Jordan, I'll push it back over to you for anything else you want to add. And I do see we have another question in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to quickly, if people are hopping off, say thank you for joining. Like Daniel said, we'll stick on and answer the questions. So get those in. Happy to, talk feedback, pain points that you're seeing, questions on new features, anything like that. So got a question from Daniel. Any plans to allow non-admins to move or delete integration cards? Daniel, this kind of goes with that custom user role. It's going to be a very large feature. We have been talking about it a lot, but really anything with altering permissions just tends to be a big feature. yes, it's definitely part of or one of the ideas we've talked about. Like what can you turn on and off for those custom user roles? Integrations, obviously, being able to set those up to manage those, definitely a topic of conversation. Unfortunately, with that feature, it's just a little bit early for me to know exactly what's going to be included. If it'll be broken into multiple versions, V1, V2 of that feature, but definitely something that we are aware of with managing integrations. I'd highly suggest adding that to the feedback.hudu.com page on it. There is a specific one for custom user roles. So
Yeah, and definitely not something that we've obviously heard that feedback quite a bit, and it's definitely something on our, I say radar every time too, Jordan, and I also have to figure out how to shift my verbiage and that everything is on our radar, but now we really do have a radar. Um, all right, so it doesn't look like we have any more questions here. So, to prolong, yeah, Hudu Horizon. There you go, Daniel. That is,
it's a
first
good
of
one.
all, yeah, first of all, great name. Second of all, very creative and it's something that I will do my best to shift to going forward. Um, Hoodoo Voodoo. I think we have played around with doing something on the Hoodoo Voodoo train before. Obviously, see, that would have been a great one for like our Q3 recap right before Halloween, huh? See now, Greg, this is why we have you because you come with the ones that are easy to say. Hoodoo Copilot plus Premium E7 without Teams. I would love to say that to everybody that joins in on these. Um, Great use of the chat, everyone, by the way. Alrighty, so we don't have any more questions. We'll go ahead and wrap up, give you back a couple minutes out of your day here. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. We always love to have all of these familiar faces and new faces here on these webinars. It is great to talk with y'all virtually. I know this wasn't in our quarter recap, but we're obviously planning to attend quite a few conferences this year as well. We'll announce those when they happen. That's always honestly the greatest is to see y'all in person, say hi. So when we do post those, if you're attending any of those, don't be shy. Always feel free to come say hi. That also goes for just emailing us. We post our emails in these pretty much every time as well. I will go ahead and post mine. Jordan's is easy as well, and Jordan just posted his. If you have any questions, me for the feature side of things, what's new, if you want to go over any of these new features coming soon, happy to do so. Jordan on the product side of things, again, we always want to be as helpful as possible, and we thank you all for making these as interactive as possible. Jordan, if you want to close us out, that would be fantastic today.
Yeah, absolutely. Just reiterating what Daniel said, thanks for joining. These are always the best webinars that we do every quarter. Great to see the interaction and, hear feedback, see the excitement for certain features. Like you said, reach out to us over email if you have further questions that we didn't get to, or, you just didn't want to ask in the webinar. And join the community.hudu.com. We're very active in that as well. So thanks, everybody.
Have a great rest of your day. Happy holidays.